Hi, I'm Andy Brown, Park Ranger at Galena Creek Regional Park, and I'm here to share with you a few tips and advice on how to go out and successfully find your own family Christmas tree this season. Next to me is the information board at the Jones Creek Trailhead here at Galena Creek Park, and here you'll find lots of helpful information about how to purchase a permit and some of the rules and requirements of cutting a tree in this area. Due to the current situation with COVID, we're actually not selling permits in person this year at the Visitor Center. They're also not available at the Forest Service office in Carson or in Sparks. So we've got a list of locations here where you can find those permits, as well as recreation.gov. They'll be available online this year for the first time. So these are QR codes that you can scan with your phone to take you to those websites, those various places to get information on where to purchase your permit online. And the way to use a QR is you'll open your phone's camera app. This is an Android device, but it also works with Apple devices as well. And hover it over the QR code there, and you'll see the notification that'll take you to the web page. And this particular code takes you right to recreation.gov, where you can purchase your permit online. So there you go. All the information is right there. If you don't have a permit for rec.gov, it's super easy to set one up. So you'll notice on this information sheet here, we've got the maps for the north and south of the different sections of the Humboldt-Tioga National Forest, the districts that are open to tree cutting right now. So I'm going to do the same thing with my QR there and hover over that one, open it up with my phone, and I use a helpful app called Avenza Maps, and this is available with Android devices and Apple devices. And the thing that's great about Avenza is you can use it even as an offline map. So this downloads it right to your phone, and you can use it to geolocate yourself. It uses GPS technology to geolocate you, and so even though this is an offline map, I've just located myself on the map, and I can see that I'm within a gray zone here. So if you look at the key on the map, it'll tell you that areas that are open to tree cutting are going to be in this gray zone. You can use it to determine if you're on private property or national forest or wilderness areas. Doesn't matter where, but it'll tell you if you're in the right location to find a tree. So you can see right here, we're at the Jones Creek Trailhead, and keep in mind that cutting a tree within 100 yards of the trailhead is not really what we want to see happen here. We do have a really creative sign system. Just follow those trail markers, and it'll lead you right to a good area to cut trees here at Galena Creek Park. So when you purchase your permit online at recreation.gov, it's recommended to print that permit out and display it on your dashboard in case you are approached by Forest Service personnel. Same as having that physical permit that you would attach to the tree. You can still do that if you purchase a permit in person at Shields or Sportsman's Warehouse or any of the retailers that are selling those permits. But if you happen to purchase your permit online, you want to print it out and put it in your vehicle. So I want to cover a couple safety items. You know, a lot of the road networks within the cutting areas are primitive, so they're going to be gravel or dirt and probably covered in snow. And so you want to make sure that your vehicle's up to the task. Make sure your car's tires are in good shape. Four-wheel drive is always recommended, but probably want to pack some snow chains too and know how to use those snow chains. You know, if you're going out alone, which isn't recommended, make sure you tell somebody where you're going and when you plan on coming back in case you run into a problem and you're not back at the time you said you were going to be back. It's recommended to go out in groups. That way, in case you run into a problem, you don't have to worry about calling for a tow truck, not in an area that with self-service, so you're able to self-extract. You always want to pay attention to weather conditions. Check that weather forecast before you head out. And also look into any road closures that might be in place. Call 511 ahead of time, or look on your favorite navigation site, and that'll tell you whether or not the roads are passable. So going back to safety, I also want to mention that you want to make sure you've got the proper footwear. So, you know, hiking out in the forest, so you're going to want sturdy boots. And it's always a good idea to bring a coat, dress in layers, something appropriate for the weather, especially if you're not familiar with the area. So yeah, dressing in layers. Make sure you bring some water for everybody, and a snack might be a good idea too. And one thing I want to mention real quick is we do prohibit the cutting of Christmas trees within the Washoe County land over there within the regional park. However, cutting is permitted within the national forest, which is this green area here. As long as you're aware of your location on the map in relation to national forest and county lands, state, private lands, you know, they're all important things to know, because you want to make sure you know where you are before you cut that tree. So if you're planning on cutting a tree at Galena Creek Recreation Area this year, first thing you'll notice when you get to the trailhead is the signs, but that'll direct you to the trail here heading west towards the Jones Creek area, and you'll see a series of signs here that'll lead you right to the best location for finding a tree this year. So even though your permit is good from the beginning of the month through Christmas, it's not always a good idea to go out super early because your average tree is only going to last 3 to 4 weeks. So it's best to go out late November to early December to get the best out of your holiday season with your tree. This is a Jeffrey pine, and Jeffrey pines and ponderosa pines, they look pretty similar. There's a few ways to tell them apart, but if you're not familiar with the difference between the two, all you need to know is that they are 3-needle pines, and their pine needles are about 5 to 8 inches long. And the really important thing about these is the fact that they are a 3-needle pine versus a 5-needle pine. There are 3 needles in each one of these little fascicles attached to the branches, and so that's what you want to look for. You know, any of the 3-needle pines are going to be okay to cut. The 5-needle pines, which include limber pine and white pine, those have 5 needles in a bunch, and so those are the trees that you want to avoid cutting. And those are a little bit easier to tell apart. The needles aren't quite as long. They're only about maybe 2 to 3 inches at the maximum. And again, they're going to have 5 needles in a bunch instead of 3. I also want to mention that this tree is within 10 feet of another live tree. So that is one of the main requirements on your tree permit. You want to make sure that it's within 10 feet of another live tree, no more than 6 inches at the base in diameter, and your stump is no more than 6 inches off the ground. So I've got my eye protection, and I'm gonna go ahead and measure this tree to make sure that it's not over 6 inches in diameter. So I think we're in good shape right there. This tree is less than 2 inches in diameter, and I can get right down to the ground there, so I can make my cut pretty close to ground level, so I'm able to leave a very short stump behind. So you want to practice safety with the saw. Make sure that there's nobody anywhere near the tree when it's going to fall. Make sure everyone knows that you're going to make the cut before you do it. That way nobody gets hurt. So once you have your tree, run your hands over it, and that's going to tell you again if it's in good health. You notice that I didn't top the tree, and I'm not leaving a lot of remnants behind. Part of leave no trace ethic is to leave no trace, essentially, that you were even there. So take the whole tree with you. Plan on taking the entire tree with you. Even if you only plan on using part of the tree, it's best to remove the whole tree from the forest so that it doesn't leave remnants behind. It does cause resource damage when limbs and stumps are left behind. I want to demonstrate right now something that you're going to want to avoid when you are looking for the perfect tree. So this one right here was cut within the last few years here at Galena Creek Recreation Area, and it's very close to the trail. So that's one thing you want to consider, is look for something that's not so close to the trail, so that we're still left with plenty of little trees to enjoy while we're hiking the trails in the summertime. But the big thing I want to mention with this is, this tree was well over 6 inches in diameter at the base, and you can see it's well over 6 inches cut from the ground. So that's a 5-foot stump right there that was left behind. And this type of resource damage doesn't go away on its own. This tree's not going to regrow. This will have to be removed at some point. This is causing a couple issues in the forest with fire danger, but also you can see right behind me, There's about a 15-foot section of this tree left over as well. So, all of this does, create resource damage to the forest. So we want to really avoid this type of behavior.